Since we come from knowledge-based industry, we need to appreciate one thing and understand it, internalize it that principle may be the same, but application can be many.
Okay.
Just think about, you must have heard about Newton's law of forces, right?
Yes.
And any structure, think about this fan that you're talking about, the mobile phone that you might have, this ways which you have got, this building itself, or you think about a spacecraft. Okay. All of these different applications actually.
Yes.
But fundamental principle, the guys who have built this or designed like me, who used to be product designer, we applied Newton's law of motion, Newton's law of forces. Principle remain the same. Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast by IMA, Indore Management Association. This podcast is on the event of first HR Conclave being held by IMA in Indore. Today, we are honored to be joined by Shridhar Lolla, sir. He is the principal consultant at the Goldratt School at Bengaluru. He's a mentor, author, and a strategic guide to countless entrepreneurs and business leaders. He's the author of books like The Path, Building Manufacturing Competitiveness, and recently a series of books called TOC Way. Through his writing and mentorship, Shridhar sir has helped leaders cut through chaos, find their North Star, and build businesses that are not just successful, but sustainable and resilient. If you're a founder, leader, or a business thinker trying to build clarity and sustainability in your business, this conversation is for you. Welcome to the show, sir. We are honored to have you, Shridhar sir, today.
Thank you, Rupal.
We would start with, how did you land up in this journey of your life? How did you start it? Please tell us about that.
Okay. By qualification, I'm an engineer.
Okay.
And I used to work with large organization, and I used to design engineering products. Okay. And it just happened that this organization gave me an opportunity to work with management techniques.
Okay.
And I liked that work so much, and probably the outcome of some assignments given to me was such that later on management said, why don't you really stick with what's required for our company from the management layer and seek a career in that direction. And that's how I moved on to the business management.
So basically, you started from making machines and ended up building businesses?
So it was like being a designer of a product, physical product,
Okay.
to a designer of business. That's a major shift. So if you see from that angle, your way of thinking or the process, the way you look at developing a product, that process remains the same. Only the entity now that you're handling business is different. So it was very easy for me, that I just switched from one domain to another domain, not leaving the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the experience of building things and managing those helped you in catering this one.
Yes.
So, recently you have published a book called TOC Way, and the Goldratt School also works on the phenomena of TOC.
Yes.
So, first thing first, please put some light on what TOC is for our viewers.
Okay. TOC is a breakthrough management technique or a philosophy. Okay. And it is used for achieving ambitious growth. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how it differentiates itself from different other techniques. And what it fundamentally says is that organization is an interconnected system. Okay. And with time, you have more employees, more customers, more products, more geographies. So that interconnection increases with time.
Okay.
Okay. And we have a habit, in order to improve the performance of the system, keep on improving everything. But Dr. Eli Goldratt, who propounded theory of constraint, he said that when you're looking at interconnected system, you can think about like a chain, of certain strength,
Okay.
wherever different interconnected links. And if you want to increase strength of the chain, actually, you don't need to improve each and every link, because what he said is that if you stretch a chain beyond its strength, it will always break at one point, which is the weakest link. Okay, and that he called as constraint. Okay. Similarly, in an organization, if an organization is of 1,000 crore, what it means is that there's one weakest link, the weakest link, or maybe two just, yeah, which dictate that this organization can make only 1,000 crore, not more than this. So the management or the leadership team needs this capability to identify one thing that dictates the performance of the whole organization. And that he called as a theory of constraints. And there are a whole lot of other tools and techniques which help you in taking advantage of this insight.
Right. Okay. So finding this bottleneck or this constraint.
Or constraints, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this helps to maximize the business and
very quickly and significantly, because now you don't have to put all your resources everywhere.
right.
Yeah.
And you have to just concentrate on what
Yeah.
the most
Probably synchronize energy of the organization on one thing that matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with experience, there are various organizations. Some are into manufacturing, service industry,
Yes.
and whatnot. So what do you think? Like, is there a particular pain point in manufacturing industries which should be, looked for? Like with experience, have you felt that that manufacturing industry should usually first find the fault there or find that constraint in particular segment or something?
Okay. See, constraints are generally formed because the way you operate, the type of rules you have. Okay. So even if you are in the same industry, yeah, you just pick two businesses, you may find constraint to be in different places.
Okay.
Yeah, because every business is different, and the way the mindset of the management works, the constraint would be in that particular place. Yep.
So, and this constraint, this could be related to the process and to the people as well. Uh, does TOC work similarly for both the things? Like, what does TOC framework talk about? Like, does it work similarly for the process and similarly for the people, or is it different for both the things?
Okay, so these are interconnected actually. You cannot separate people from the process.
Okay.
Because people work on the process.
Right.
Okay, they are the resources to drive the process.
Right.
Okay, and processes are something which help organization achieve the results that they want.
Okay.
So you have an outcome that you aspire for, and then you build processes, and then you put resources there.
Okay.
Okay, so the constraint could be some resource actually. Physically, generally, what happens is the physical manifestation of the constraint would appear on a resource. Okay, but when you drill down it will tell you that there may be some other policy that is actually causing this.
Okay.
Okay, as simple as this. Yeah.
So it's basically breaking down the process very minutely and then understanding what the core problem might be.
No, it is not about breaking down. This is how it is different compared to other philosophies.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't break the whole process, one step at a time everywhere and try to monitor each thing.
Okay.
Yeah, or measure each thing and then decide how it is. There are thumb rules which very quickly can tell you where the constraint is. In a very simple way, for example, if you go to a bank which is processing loan, and you say that actual work to be done on each of these files, yeah, is there is somebody to approve, or maybe 5 minutes at each desk, 10 minutes, that's what we know about it. But banks will take maybe 30 days or 40 days. Okay.
Okay.
So obviously there's somewhere some constraint, for example. And one of the ways that you can figure out is that if you walk across the tables in old traditional way, if you just look at the files at each table, you'll figure out that one place you've got mighty files, a heap of files, which means actual things are come and stuck there. Today, of course, you can even see if the physical files are not there. Online, you can see how many jobs are there in front of somebody. In manufacturing, you can see the goods are stuck somewhere, for example.
Okay.
These are very simple, but most organizations actually are not linear the way we're talking about process. They're very complex. They're not simple chain. They're like mesh. So your advanced techniques that TOC provides you to figure out what is that one thing that organization need to focus on. So fundamentally, theory of constraint is about focusing on things despite the complexity, despite the uncertainty, because the way the world today is, there's so much of uncertainty.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where it important comes into.
So does DOC works better for the organizations which are already, developed, or is it even for the startups? should startups also concentrate on the TOC framework and try to implement that, or rather than that, the developed businesses which are already into process now and working in a similar way and now looking for going 2x, 3x, or 10x, they should think about TOC. Who should think about
Okay,
TOC?
since we come from knowledge-based industry, we need to appreciate one thing and understand it, internalize it that principle may be the same, but application can be many.
Okay.
Just think about, you must have heard about Newton's law of forces, right?
Yes.
And any structure, think about this stand that you're talking about, the mobile phone that you might have, this ways which you have got, this building itself, or you think about a spacecraft.
Okay.
Okay. All of these different applications actually.
Yes.
But fundamental principle, the guys who have built this or designed, like we who used to be product designer, we applied Newton's law of motion, Newton's law of forces. Principles remain the same. Yeah. So similarly, TOC, it is applicable across industries,
Yes.
across functions, across the stage of business. So when our startup, it is a very early stage. There are a lot of problems, there are a lot of uncertainty. That's where TOC comes and tells the entrepreneurs where to focus on when you got a startup. You have so many possibilities. If you try to chew all the possibilities, nothing will move ahead.
Right.
For example, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is for similarly when you go to SMEs, yeah, SMEs fundamentally, in India that we have seen is that SMEs are stuck actually at a certain level, and the big problem in scaling up. So they have different constraint. We see the large organizations, they're overtly complex, and people try to, what you said, try to try to collect data everywhere, try to figure out where to improve, try to improve everywhere. And when you do thousands of things, you will miss the one thing that's the most important thing, which is the weakest link.
And TOC helps in.
And TOC provides the right type of tools and framework for it to address each situation. Ultimate solution would be different because it's a solution methodology. You're solving a problem. We fundamentally a problem solver. Doesn't matter which industry, which function. Yeah, principle is the same to figure out what is the one thing and how to bring the whole organization focus on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Sir, lastly, can you share a story where you have helped any organization, a particular example which you can help our viewers share with our viewers?
There are quite a few organizations. Fundamentally, we say that TOC is all about thinking process. There are two things, when go into organization. There's a thinking, there's a doing. The whole lot of world, the improvements that have been done on doing side. Do this, do that, methods. Okay.
Okay.
But thinking is so powerful and for us as human being, and its potential has really not been realized. And that is what TOC is all about. So there are instances like if you read the book, The Path, it gives a lot of examples about where it has been applied. We are talking about in a very short period of time, when suddenly a customer has on this pharmaceutical company placed a huge order on their blockbuster product.
Okay.
And everybody said we cannot deliver it. Yeah, but it's too big an order in short time. And then within a week, you are able to improve the capacity of this line, by almost 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah, and thereby getting that sales that you would have lost otherwise. And the client was in a very big urgency. Okay, so this is the one case. Now the constraint need not be here. The constraint could as well be in the market.
Right.
Yeah, when your right capability here, for example, you don't have enough orders from the market, then it's so for example, in a startup case we talk about, in Bangalore, we have got one engineering company and they do awful engineering. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, awesome engineering. Okay. Okay. Amazing engineering. And the amount of engineering stuff goes from robotics to a whole lot of those hard coding on embedded system.
Okay.
But this industry, what happens is that they build all these robots, but when they go to customer pays them by weight of the things because there's a lot of iron involved. You can imagine you're putting a whole lot of the mind, knowledge, and everything into it, and you're getting paid for the loha and lakdi that you're putting into there.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, so this company had the problem like any other company in terms of making profit.
Right.
Okay, and managing their cash. Okay, so theory of constraints help them in redrafting the proposal that they give to the customer.
Okay.
Yeah, and telling the customer the value that we're giving because of the engineering knowledge that we have, rather than just the hardware that you're looking at. Yeah, this allowed this company to raise their price within 3 months by almost 140%. So you can talk about 2.5 times price without doing anything, just because you were able to figure out that already I'm selling my product by weight. Yeah, despite my all this electronics, mechatronics knowledge that is getting into it, but then doing a marketing which showed the real value to the customer, validated it from them that because of this you are getting so much of benefit.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So why are you comparing with somebody who is supplying you steel?
Right.
Yeah.
By selling it.
So this is like one thing they identified, and it was just a matter of just changing this proposal. Yeah, they used to earlier submit something like what we call as quotation 1 page, a robot 1 page this much. Now they submit a proposal which tells them what value they're giving to pay. They show the customer that value, what value they're giving, and because the robots are buying from them, what's the benefit that business is going to get? So it could be, as I said, it could be physical constraint. Now, in second case, it's not a physical thing.
Right.
Right? Yeah, it's a marketing or market. Yeah, you had a different policy, the way the market works. Yeah.
Wow, this was very insightful, sir. I'm sure the viewers are going to be benefited by the talk. Anything else, sir, you want to add?
Oh,
Would you like to talk about your book, The Path?
so path is basically outcome of one of the largest, what we call as a operational excellence project that we did, fundamentally based on theory of constraints.
Okay.
And it talks about how theory of constraints and allied improvement techniques were used for this organization right from one end to the other end. So right now you're talking right from the sales till actually you manufacture it, distribute it. Yeah. Okay. So it talks how systematically constraints are identified and big jumps are made in a short period of time. And this is also a book. As I said, it's not just my experience. There are over 100 people who collaborated here and this specifically in pharma domain. Yeah, and so there are a lot of guys who shared their insights, and we try to write it in somewhat a story format, but still it remains a technical book.
Okay.
So that's what this book about. It's a co-created book.
Okay. Thank you, Shridhar sir. It was great to have you, and I'm sure the viewers are benefited from the insightful things you've told us. Thank you, everybody from IMA side. Please do like, share, and comment on the video, and share with your friends and family. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks, Rupert.